we are going to go through is I'm going to break down for you how to track your calories, how to understand macros, the different types of macros, and how you actually can do the equations and the numbers to work out how many calories you are getting from protein, how many calories you're getting from fats, and how many calories you are getting from carbs. It is all education. There's going to be times when you're going to have to write down some numbers, do some little maths equations, but the idea of this is to make you understand why and how you are actually tracking your calories and how each macronutrient affects how much calories or how many calories you will be taking in. Okay, so as we go through this, I'll break it down to great detail. If at any stage you have to pause this presentation at times, I'll tell you to pause it. Please pause it, do the little calculation. You'll need a calculator and a pen and paper, and then you move on again. Okay, so hopefully this is probably, we have 40 slides to get through. So I'm not going to try and keep you here too long, probably looking at about 30 minutes. Okay. So first up, breaking down the science, as to how we work out our calorie intake for our specific needs. So everyone is different. Educate you into the future. And like I said, grab a pen and paper and your calculator. Pause the presentation at any time, do the calculation, move on when you are complete. Hint, I will be giving you the answers, but I want you to do the calculations before seeing the answers. Again, everyone is going to be of a different body weight. So this is where everybody is different. Girls are also going to be different to guys. There's different methods to how girls will track their calories or how much of a certain macronutrient a girl will need for protein and fats versus how much a guy will need. So everyone is different. Don't copy anyone's answers, okay? And you'll be perfectly fine. My calorie calculator, again, does this for you. There's a link in my bio, or I've probably got you to use it before, but there's no point in me giving you the answers. I want you to be able to work it out for yourself so that you are better, that you have a better knowledge and understanding of going forward in the future, okay? So again, using my calorie calculator will give you all your calories and your macros. It'll break it down perfectly for you. It'll give you all the percentages and the grams of each macronutrient. But here it is. A great saying is, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. So that's exactly what I'm trying to get you guys to do here. So understanding macronutrients, macros, okay? To understand macros, you need to know a little about the science behind it. Nutrition science is all about chemistry and categories. That's about as complicated as we will try and make it today. Don't worry, we're not going to dig too deep in. We refer to what we get out of food as nutrients. So every food that you eat has nutrients. Well, you want it to have nutrients. Other foods do not have nutrients. We will look at food. There are two categories of nutrients that we consider. Macronutrients, aka macros, is going to be the big concern here for us. Nutrients that the body uses for energy. We also have our micronutrients. It's going in a lot deeper. Okay, there is deeper you can go, but we're just going to focus on the macro. But the micro is the smaller nutrients that our body uses to create chemical reactions in the body, like our vitamins and our minerals, our electrolytes, etc. Simply put, macronutrients are types of calories. There are 4 categories of macronutrients that our body recognizes as energy. Now, again, at any stage you want to write this down, write it down, or else you can always refer back to the slide. The more I find that I write things down, the more I actually understand it. So the 4 categories are carbohydrates, protein, fat, and alcohol. Alcohol is a macronutrient, but it's something that we will not be counting. It's limited or avoided when you are trying to reach your goals. But again, I will explain to you how that comes into play. All of these nutrients, except alcohol, are essential for our bodies to function. Okay, alcohol is not essential, but it is one of the macronutrients. I don't really count it, but it is there just to give you an understanding. But we're never looking at putting alcohol into the system to reach our goals, okay? So here is just a bit of a picture. You can pause this. I'm not going to stay here for too long, but understand the carbs, proteins, and fats, okay? Sometimes proteins will have carbs and they will have fats. Sometimes fats, like the avocado, is just fats. There's no carbs or protein in it. For instance, you might get a piece of, let me see, salmon. Okay, salmon has fats and it also has protein. Okay, and then I'm going to show you the other side. So if you want to look at this one, you can, but then the next slide is going to break it down for you even more. Again, we have alcohol in here. So you think about beer and wine, you have alcohol here, you have carbs here, protein and fats. Certain fats like, just say like avocados, they are fats. There is, well, a tiny bit of carbs in it. You have, say, yogurt, for instance, nuts and seeds, they will have protein, carbs, and fats. So sometimes some of these will have all three macronutrients in one, but I'm not going to confuse you too much. You can pause this and you can have a look at it. And again, alcohol, beer and wine, there'll be carbs in alcohol. So again, for every pint of cider you drink, you might have, wild guess, 50 to 100 grams of carbs, okay? You can pause this, have a look at this, but I will be going through other examples in greater detail. But just understand that some foods have all three, protein, carbs, and fats. Chicken, just for instance, a lot of people say, oh, chicken is just protein. Yes, it is. But again, there's other meats that will have, say like steak, will be high in protein, but also high in fat, all right? So before we get into this, I want to just explain to you about fiber. Fiber is something that we need in our diet. It goes with, it's part of the family for carbohydrates, but I'm just going to give you a bit of a breakdown and you can take down the number in just a moment. So fiber is a type of carbohydrate that the body can't digest. Though most carbohydrates are broken down into sugar molecules, fiber cannot be broken down into sugar molecule, and instead it passes through the body, through the digestive system, and out through the body undigested. Fiber helps bowel movements, regulates the body's use of sugar, helps to keep hunger and blood sugars in check. So fiber binds to sugar, and then it carries it through the bloodstream, and then the fiber, hopefully the sugar goes into the cell, okay, and then the fiber will help with digestion, with the gut, to cleanse it out and push everything out through. So there are two different types of fiber, soluble and insoluble. Both are important for health, digestion, and preventing disease. Now, soluble fiber, like I said, it attracts water. Soluble attracts water and turns to gel during digestion. This slows down digestion. So again, it's good to have fiber in your diet when you eat certain carbs so that, you know, it binds to it and then it pushes it through. It slows down digestion. Soluble fiber is found in oats, barley, nuts, seeds, beans, lentils, peas, and some fruits and veg. Okay. It is also found in pilsimum. I can't even pronounce this word properly, but this is a common, if you are looking for a fiber supplement, this is the one that you want to look for. One that's high in pilsimum, can't pronounce it like I said, and that is, so you have different fiber supplements, but that is a really good one to get. Insoluble fiber is found in foods such as wheat, bran, vegetables, and whole grains as well. It adds bulk to your stool. So there is a thing called the Bristol stool chart, where you can actually, it gives you like 7 different descriptions of poo, and you can actually gauge which one yours is. But with a proper intake of fiber into your diet, then you will see that, you know, when you digest food and it comes out the other end, that it's not like watery, because if it's watery, there's a sign something's off. You're probably not getting any fiber in your diet, and then it binds it all together and it makes it, I won't say pretty, but you get the message, okay? So how much fiber do we need in our diet? Now, it is recommended that you get 14 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories consumed. So take, for instance, if someone is on a diet of 2,000 calories, you should be getting 28 grams of fiber. If you're on 2,500 calories, you should be getting 35 grams. That's 14 plus, or sorry, 2,500 is 28 plus half of that. I'm after messing this up, or am I? I'm not, apologies. 2,000 calories equals 28 grams of fiber. 2,500 calories is 35 grams. So 7 plus 7 here, because half of 14, an extra 500 calories is 7 grams. If you were to have 3,000 calories, it's 14 times 3, which is 42 grams of fiber in your diet. Okay, so this is why we want to get fiber into our diet. So if you need to take a break and you need to just remember any of that, take a break, have a drink of water, like I do. If there's anything that you need to go back and look at there in terms of fiber, then please do. Okay, if not, we're going to move on. We're going to get into the fun stuff. So here are the numbers of when we break down our protein, carbs, and our fats, how much per gram, how many calories per gram of each macronutrient, and then how we will work it out, this for our calorie intake, and how we will be able to manipulate them to suit our needs. Because the goal is to get you to become your own nutritionist, okay? And eat what you like to eat, but obviously, you know, we want to limit some of the bad foods. There's no such thing as bad food, it's just how much of it you actually eat. But we will get into all that. So we're back again to our macros, which are our carbs, protein, fats, and alcohol over here on the left-hand side. This will be the last time I'll mention alcohol, but in each carbohydrate, say you have 100 grams of carbohydrate. So let's take, for instance, 100 grams of oats has about 60 grams of carbohydrate, okay? 100 grams of oats is not 100 grams of carbs. It's 100 grams in weight, but there is 60 grams of carbs of the macronutrient in oats. 1 gram is equal to 4 calories. I want you to write this down and remember it. Carbs equals 1 gram, 1 gram equals 4 calories. Protein is, again, you can have 100 grams of chicken, but there is probably 30 grams of protein in the chicken. Okay, it's not 100 grams of chicken equals 100 grams of protein. 100 grams of chicken has about, or 100 grams of chicken has about 30 grams of protein. 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. Again, write this down. Then we have fat. Now, fats such like avocado, fish, nuts. But again, let's take nuts, for instance. They're really high in fat. So you might have a fistful of nuts, 100 grams, okay? 100 grams, it's a lot of nuts now, to tell you the truth. In that 100 grams of weight, you might have 70 grams of actual fat. Now, why is this nuts are high in calories? Due to the fact that 1 gram of fats is equal to 9 calories. So it's twice as much energy as carbs and protein, but we still need them. Okay, so just because it's high in calories, fat does not make you fat. Okay, fat is required, and we will go all into that. But for the moment, you just need to know that 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. Again, write it down. And in alcohol, 1 gram of alcohol equals 7 calories. This is the last time that I mention alcohol. So again, write these down before moving on. Now, I'm not going to do this with you because it's a big mathematical equation, but you can calculate. My calorie calculator does it for you. It's your total daily energy expenditure. You can do it on the internet with tdcalculator.net. And the formula that's regularly used is the Harris-Benedict formula. So that's the one that's widely used. Obviously, I have my calculator. I should have put my own calculator here. I don't know why I didn't do that. But you can use my calorie calculator with the link in my bio. Some way to advertise myself. Completely didn't put that in. So we're going to take a 70 kg person. It doesn't matter if it's a male or female. We're just going to say it's a 70 kg person, right? This is a number you need to remember. Now, for example, a 70 kg person, their TDEE equals 2,500 calories. So just for instance, let's say it's me, it's John. Okay, we're going to call him John. John's calorie intake is 2,500 calories. John or Sheila, it doesn't matter. 2,500 calories. So this is how much TDE stands for total daily energy expenditure. That's how much this person needs after we've done the maths, after we understood how much training they're doing. this is how many calories they will require per day, depending. It doesn't matter what their goal is, whether it's fat mass, fat loss, muscle gain, performance. If 2,500 calories, this is John or Sheila's actually calorie intake, and that's what we just have to remember. Okay, now let's break down how much of each macronutrient you will require. Remember, protein, carbs, and fats. Okay, so first of all, just going to explain to you a bit about protein. Proteins are made up of amino acids. There is 20 to 22 amino acids that form chains. They link together to form chains to create proteins. Okay, so protein, essentially, amino acids cannot be made by the body. So they cannot be made by the body. As a result, they must come from food, of which there are 9 specifically. So there is 9 essential amino acids, or 9 essential amino acids, and they need to be ingested. So you need to get them from fish, you need to get them from protein, you need to get them from cheese, you need to get them from a wide variety. So again, sources include meat, eggs, tofu, soy, buckwheat, quinoa, dairy. Okay, these are good sources. You need enough total protein. So each day, we're going to go through the number in a minute. You need enough total protein to replace proteins that break down each day. So imagine you hear that, oh, you need to eat 120 grams of protein, or you need to eat 150 grams of protein per day, or you need to eat 200 grams of protein per day. It's because you break it down every day and then it needs to be replaced. Okay, plain and simple. That's why it is required to be done not just 5 days a week, but the 7 days a week. And you need to get essential amino acids in balance throughout the day to build up these proteins. So that's why we don't just stick with the one protein. We want to write a wide variety: prawns, steak, fish, tuna, everything you can get to mix it up. And again, the more variety you have, obviously, the better it is for your diet. And everyone is different. If you are vegan or vegetarian, then obviously beans and whatever you choose. Now, this is where you maybe need to pause this and write this number down, or the next slide or two. So the protein recommended intake. And I'm just going, this is a recommended kind of for everyone in general. It can be higher sometimes, but just for now, we're just going to keep it at this. So the recommended intake is 1.5 grams to 2 grams of protein per kg of body weight. So John or Sheila weighs 70 kg. Okay, remember the 70 kg mark I told you right down? So you're going to multiply 70 kg by 1.5 and to 2 grams. Okay, and what you get is that John or Sheila's protein intake is going to be between 105 to 140 grams of protein per day. Now, if someone like myself, I'm 90 kg, I will be closer to 200, okay, because I'm a bigger person. Now, if you have weight to lose, then if someone was chronically overweight, let's say, then this formula probably, it wouldn't work. You wouldn't do this for that person because they obviously have fat to lose. So if someone is 100 kg, that's like 20 kg overweight, you wouldn't give them 150 to 200 calories. You just you have to work with that person, obviously. But this is just for generalization, is that you're going to be consuming 1.5 to 2 grams. Now, you are moving on to the next one, or sorry, before we get started, you do this to your body weight. So whatever body weight you are, I want you to multiply 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per your body weight. And then you'll have the gauge of how many grams of protein you will require per day. So I always like to give people a target and a range. If you're a guy at 70 kg, you probably want to be closer to the 140. If you're a girl, 1.5, and maybe 105 to 120 would be your target. But the more protein you can get into you in that range, the better it will be for muscle gain, for recovery, for performance, and just to feel satiated when you eat your meals. So target to hit 105 to 140 grams of protein per day. Okay. Now, that's your grams of protein. Now we're going to work out how many calories that actually takes up. Okay, how many calories when you eat the protein, how many calories that actually occurs. So remember, 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. Remember, we did that back a couple of slides ago. Now what you will do is you will take 105 and you will multiply it by 4. That will give you 420 calories from protein. So again, that's the low end. Okay, this is the low end. And then you have 140. Remember, we're still taking a 70 kg person, multiplied by 4, and that is 560. So they 560 calories. So the difference between 105 grams of protein per day and 140 is 140 calories. Okay, but we're going to take this number. So I want you to write this down. 140 grams of protein equals 560 calories. So write that down somewhere that you can see. And then we're going to move on. Pause this if you have to. Now, like I said, multiply your weight. This is we've just done it. I've just asked you to multiply your weight in kg, in kilograms by 1.5 to 2 and multiply by 4 to give your calories. Okay, pause once completed. So whatever weight you are, you multiply it by 1.5 to 2 grams, you get your range, and then you do the maths on both of them so you understand the calorie gauge there. So pause, take a break. If you need to, have a drink of water. Move away from the screen, go for a walk if you have to. Okay, so now we're going to go to the fats, okay? Fats are also called lipids. They are a family of compounds and are not soluble in water. They are not soluble, meaning think of cooking oil in water. It will float on the top. So water, it doesn't get absorbed by the water. Whereas sugar is soluble. Imagine if you put a spoon of sugar into water, it will dissolve, become soluble. Okay, so fats are called lipids and they are not soluble in water. They are dense energy. Now, these are 9 calories per gram, like we spoke about. You have an unlimited capacity to store energy in the form of fat. So everyone has body fat, okay? We don't want to lose all our body fat. We never want to do that. Obviously, there's the times when we do want to shed some body fat, but bad things happen if you lost all your body fat. You miss your menstrual cycle. Hormones would get damaged. The way your body and your system works together, everything would be upset if you cut out eating fat, or if you strip back and you try to lose too much fat, okay? But we won't get into that too much. It protects your brain or your organs by acting as a cushion and insulates your body from extreme temperatures. Think swimming in the sea. When you're cold, the fat is what keeps you warm, so you don't freeze to death in cold waters. Fat lubricates your skin, eyes, and lungs. Fats are also used to make cell membranes, okay, signal between cells to make hormones, the male and female hormones. So again, fat is vitally important for, let's say, the male hormone testosterone. For females, progesterone, estrogen, okay? These hormones and every other hormone in the human body needs fat in the body. So fats that we will explain where they come from, but you need it, okay? So you also need fat in your diet to absorb some vitamins such as vitamin A, D, A, and K. So when you eat these vitamins, they come through foods. It is great to have them with fats because fat helps absorb them into the cells, okay? So there are 4 major dietary fats. Saturated fats, which we want to limit. This is like sugars and cakes and stuff. We really want to limit those. Transit fats should be avoided. The cooking oil that you cook your chips in, all these transit fats, they're the bad fats, okay? They inflame the body. They should be avoided. Then you have your monosaturated fats and your polyunsaturated fats. These are your good source of fats. These are inflammatory, so they help the body cool down in a way. So if you have any inflammation, these are the fats that, help the body. Good sources are avocado, nut seeds, fatty fish, salmon, chia seeds, dark chocolate, nuts, butters, extra virgin olive oil is good, eggs, flax seeds, tofu, full fat yogurt, and so forth. Okay, so again, they are the types that you want to be getting into your diet daily. Now, fat recommended intake. Here we go again with the maths. Get your pen and paper out. Taking our fat recommended intake. The intake that we should be getting is 1 gram to 1.2 grams per 1.2 grams per kg of body weight. So again, Guys, I usually keep on the 1 gram. Girls, I like to keep a little bit higher because girls have a lot more with the hormones going on around their menstrual cycle. So again, this can be manipulated, okay? The lowest you would ever go is 0.8. And again, but we're just going to work on the 1 gram to 1.2. So let's take John or Sheila again at their 70 kg. We multiply 70 kg by 1 to 1.2, which would equal 70 grams to 84 grams of fat per day. So when we multiply 1.2, we take the our number here. Our recommended fat intake per day will be 1 gram to 1.2, and you do the maths, and that's how many grams of fats you need per day. Remember, fat is a macronutrient. So let me just see. Yeah, we'll get to the multiplication in a second. So again, the 70 grams to 105. Sorry, I messed this up. 70 grams to 84. What did I write 105 for? Apologies there. I don't know why I did that. Should be 70 to 84. Okay, 70 to 84 grams of fat per day. Remember, 1 gram of fat is equal to 9 calories. So we take our first number, 70 grams, and we multiply this by 9 because 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. Now, as you can see, you have 630 calories from fat. 630 calories from fat. We'll also take the 84, which is 1 gram by 1.2 by the 70, gives you 84. Multiplied by 9, you get 756 calories from the higher ratio, okay? Now, there are your two numbers. That's like your target in between those. But we're just going to take this. We're going to take this number here, the 630 calories. So we just work off 1. Now, again, if you need to pause this, please do. Now, here what we're going to do. You're going to multiply your weight, whatever weight you are, again, just like the protein, in kilograms by 1 gram to 1.2. And then you multiply it by 9 to get your calories. Pause this once you're complete. So if you're 76 kg, you multiply 76 by 1 and 76 by 1.2, and that will give you the grams and fats. Okay, then you multiply both sides by 9, just so you have both sides of the equation. Pause this and move on when you are ready. So, a recap. We're still with John and Sheila, who weigh 70 kg. Their TDE is 2,500 calories. And now we're back to our protein, where we said we're going to take the 140 grams of protein, multiply it by 4, that gives us 560 calories. And then we took our 70 grams of fats, multiplied by 9, which gives us 630 calories. Okay, 560 from protein, 630 calories from fats. So remember, protein and fats are separate macronutrients, and this person's total daily intake is going to be 2,500 calories. So pause again, take a break if you need to. We're nearly there. We're going to go through carbohydrates, and then we're going to go through our final equation. So carbs. Carbohydrates are essential. Carbohydrates are not bad, okay? Carbohydrates are essential for a well-balanced diet and a healthy body. They are the body's preferred energy source and fuel vital organs, including the brain, central nervous system, and kidneys. If you deprive yourself of carbohydrates, your brain will shut down, okay? Carbohydrates also important energy source during exercise. Okay, so like high intensity training is our main fuel source. Lifting heavy, our main fuel source is carbohydrates. The digestive system breaks down carbohydrates into glucose. Okay, this is where it gets a bit sciencey again. Breaks it down. So you eat carbs, you eat potatoes, you eat white rice, breaks it down into glucose. Then the pancreas secretes a hormone called insulin. Insulin is the key to the cell. So basically the body needs insulin. Okay, when you eat carbohydrates, it goes into the bloodstream, comes along, insulin gets released, insulin unlocks the door and lets the glucose move from the blood into the cells. Okay, in short term, that's exactly what happens, okay? Now, there are 3 main different types of carbohydrates. We will be focusing on the simple versus the complex, okay? But for understanding the different types of carbohydrates, we have sugars. These are also called simple carbohydrates. So your sweets, your jellies, the stuff that you shouldn't be eating that tastes really good, because they are in a most basic form. Starches, in the other hand, are complex carbohydrates, which are made up of a lot of simple are made up of lots of simple sugars strung together. So there's more of them together, but they become complex. So like our sweet potato, or potatoes, or what else is there? Rice again, but it needs to be complex. Okay, so there is more of them bind together, so they kind of digest slowly through the system, not like sugar giving you that big spike. Fiber that we spoke about earlier is also a complex carbohydrate. Now our sources of fiber, again, beans, oatmeal, whole wheat bread, quinoa, barley, potatoes, sweet potatoes, and many other plants, foods, and high fiber fruit and vegetables. Sorry, we had a bit of a technical difficulty there. So where were we? Now our TDE is 2,500, like we said, John or Sheila, and we have got 140 grams of protein multiplied by our 4 calories, because 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories, which gives us 560 calories. So you take your 560 calories, that's how many calories you have gotten from protein. Then we got our fats, which is 70 grams by 9, which is 630 calories from fats. And now we're going to try and work out our carb intake. That is our last macronutrient. So how we're going to do this, we're going to take our 560 calories of protein and our 600 calories of fat. We add them together, and this gives us our total calories from protein and fat, 1,190 when you add those two numbers together. So I'm going to bring that 1,190 over here to the right-hand side to B. And we take that TDE number now, which is 2,500. We minus 1,190 calories, which is our protein and our fats. And we are left with 1,310 calories left for carbs. Okay. So that is how many calories we have got for carbs. But now we've got to find out how many grams that is in carbs. So A is the same as 310 calories. So we're just going to come over to B. You've got your 1,310 calories, but now you're going to reverse engineer here. Okay, this is the tricky part. It catches people. Instead of multiplying by 4, because you already know how many calories you have, you're going to divide by 4. So divide by 4 calories, because remember, 1 gram of carbs equals 4 calories, but this time you divide. And what you're left with is that you will get 327.5 grams of carbs remaining. Okay, you could say 327. Okay, so again, breathe. Are you still with me? Just take your time, write it down, do the maths, and you will figure it out. Use your phone, use your calculator. Breathe. It's okay, we're all learning. Okay, breathe. I literally mixed up an equation and I had to stop the slideshow and go back, edit it, and then come back again. And I had this written before that. So yes, breathe. It's okay. Everyone's learning. It's always new to people if you haven't done this. Again, maths isn't everyone's favorite. Okay, but again, take your time, do the maths. Make sure you have your protein grams, you have your fat grams, and you have your carb grams, and you have your calories for each. Okay, nearly there. So here we go. Now what happens? Remember, we have our TD of 2,500 calories. Your macros are here, your protein, carbs, and your fats. Then you've got your 140 grams of protein, which equals 560 calories. You've got your 70 grams of fats, which equals to 630. And you've got your 327 grams of carbs. And it gives you 1,310 calories. So what you're going to do, hopefully, 2,500 will be our total calories. You add protein, carbs, and fat calories, and what you get is 2,500 calories. And that is how you work out your calorie intake. That's how the maths is done. So again, digest that, because I'm not finished there. Now, here is the beauty of choice and you becoming your own nutritionist. At any stage, we need protein, carbs, and our fats in our diet. Every meal should have protein, carbs, and fats in it, basically, tell you the truth. Every meal should be structured in a way that you're getting a certain amount of protein, a certain amount of fats, a certain amount of carbs, and your fiber as well, by the way. Okay, so the idea is to teach you how to become your own nutritionist. We will be able to manipulate these slightly to suit you. Sometimes you might like more fat in your diet. That is fine. Sometimes you might like more carbs in your diet or less carbs. That is fine. Sometimes you might even want an extra serving of protein, which is perfectly fine. Okay, but they're within ranges. Now, for instance, what I did here is I upped the protein by 40 grams. Okay, up the protein by 40 grams, which gives me 720 calories. I reduced the fats from 70 to 60. So 60 by 9 gives me 540. And I've reduced my carbs from 327 to 310. Because I've upped my carbs, you've got to take it from somewhere. And you still got your 2,500 calories. Okay, so it's a diet higher in protein, perfectly fine. Drop the fats a little bit. That's also okay. Obviously, you don't ever want to drop them too low, but this is just to show you that everyone is different. Some people prefer more protein. Some people prefer more fat. Some people prefer less carbs. Some people prefer higher carbs, okay? It is the beauty of choice. And then, for instance, here, what I did is protein stays the same, but the fats I have increased to 100 grams of fats. Some people, me, I actually eat 100 grams of fats, okay? So again, it doesn't matter. Obviously, there's recommendations you want to kind of sit in, but I just want to show you the beauty of choice. Your protein stays the same at 180, and instead of having 60 grams of fats, you now have 100. So 60 changes to 100, you do the maths, and you know your 100 grams of fats now equals 900. But then your fats, or your carbs, sorry, your 310 grams of carbs becomes 220. And again, this gives you the number 2,500 calories, okay? So that is how to become your own nutritionist. You can manipulate these. Obviously, I guide you through it. I give you recommendations and what it is I feel you should be, what your target is when I work it out. Obviously, my app does it, but for me, sometimes I do change up it depending. Everyone is different, but you know, that's what I've learned. It's what I know is like how to manipulate these to suit a certain individual. So again, any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Rewatch this video again. Trust me, I've done this 1,000 times. It gets easier. The more you learn, it is difficult to learn at the start. But again, once you get the hang of it, obviously for me as a coach, I write the numbers out every day for people. So I get used to it. So I don't expect you to understand this at 100%. But again, if you've done the maths and it's working out and you've done your equations, then that's exactly how you will do it. Remember, this is education, people. We don't always learn on the first go. We might get it, hopefully, but if not, we might have to rewatch it again. So again, if you have any questions or you would like to sign up for any coaching, online coaching, again, all you got to do, you can check out my website at adrianallen.com. You can email me at info@adrianallencoaching.com. Obviously, I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook as well. So again, team, really appreciate your time. Hope you have learned a lot from this. I know it can be difficult to take in, but again, don't let it stress you out too much. And again, there's always the easy option of going to the nutrition calculator and it'll do it all for you. But what does it teach you? Okay, my friends, plenty more videos coming. Hope you enjoyed that and take care. And again, please, any questions, send them forward. Or what you can do is with your answers, screenshot them, tag me on Facebook, tag me on Instagram, send them to me, and just let me know that you know how to do this. Take care. Bye-bye.